Hi, I'm Christina Applegate.
And I'm Jamie-Lynn Sigler.
And this is
Messy. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Messy. This is Jamie.
What's the show called? Sorry.
This one is called Messy.
Oh, okay. I just woke up, so I didn't know which thing I was doing today.
No problem. I've got you.
Thank you so much, my love.
My pleasure.
My name is Christina.
And we've got Christina with us today.
Christina's today. Yay!
And we have a guest with us today.
I know. This is exciting. That it's just not the two of us talking about poop.
It's not. We're going to bring someone else to talk about poop with us. He's one of my favorite people in the world, someone who has truly saved me in many times. I know that's a lot to say about somebody, but it's true.
Wow.
He's my husband's first call when he's panicked about my moods or where I might be headed.
Wow.
When I've gotten into bouts of depression or whatever it may be, when life has lifed. But he's also the person who taught me how to view the world in a way that made me finally feel safe. He's dedicated his entire life to creating safe spaces for people, both personally and professionally. He has decades of personal discovery and supporting others. He's designed these methods and tools for transformation and healing that I've personally used, all of them. He's a coach. He's a writer. He's a speaker.
Can we get to the point, Jamie? Because I need to know him right now.
Yes, please welcome to Messy. I could go on forever about him, Ryan Weiss.
You gorgeous lady. Ladies.
Yes.
Hi.
Hi. I love you, Ryan. And I won't gush anymore because I'll let everybody else fall in love with you. But I'll give everybody a brief history of us and how we came to be. And you can join in on this conversation. It doesn't have to be me. But Ryan and I initially met because he was my agent's assistant, right?
Yep.
So we would speak where he's like, you got this audition or you got this going on. And then Ryan,
you were like, offer only, bitch. And I was like, hell yeah.
Not quite. I was like, please hire me. And then, Ryan went off in his own path, as did I. And then we kept kind of running into each other. And we found each other at a time when Ryan had shifted his direction in life that he was going, and I was at a very low point where I needed somebody to guide me. Do you want to add anything to that, Ryan?
Well, yeah. I mean, I had like my career in entertainment at the time. And while I was working in entertainment as a agent trainee and then running development at a production company, secretly inside of my scripts, I was reading Ram Dass and Eckhart Tolle and Marianne Williamson and meditating and practicing yoga, and found a text called A Course in Miracles that really kind of rattled me awake in a really significant way. And being somebody who really had no real connection to religion or spirituality, suddenly I found myself in this relationship with what I could only describe as something genius beyond myself. And I spent a lot of time in those studies to the point that I kind of thought it was insane that here I am, this privileged kid from Los Angeles who had a great education but was never educated in how to have a relationship with life, which to me seemed like the most basic thing in the world that I certainly was starved for. And so I knew at the time that I wanted to make this transition to supporting other people with that. I didn't know what that would look like. And I was just in this kind of daily surrender prayer, universe, show me. I actually believe now. I'm actually feel like I'm in this conversation with you. So show me, what would you have me do? Where would you have me go? Who would you have me meet? This is up to you now. And several years into that kind of practice, I had quit the entertainment industry, and one day, Jamie and I ran into each other, and she was kind of like, what the heck happened to you? She was used to me as professional Ryan, and here I was in yoga pants with a feather in my hair, having come back to the festival where I ate mushrooms for the first time.
Kind of loving that.
Loving that. And so she was like, what are you doing? And I was like, I don't really know, but I know it's going to have to do something with helping people. That was that. And then you called me the next day, and we got together, and you opened up to me at the time. You weren't out about your MS, and you were in quite a dark chapter in your life. You opened up to me about a lot of things, and on one hand, I felt completely confused, like I'm unqualified. I shouldn't, like, I'm not we got to like take her to someone that can really help her. But on the other hand, I felt incredibly curious about what was like going on more deeply inside of you, which maybe we can talk about. But you ended up kind of literally forcing me to coach you. I was quite resistant. I didn't like the idea of coaches. I thought they were kind of like charlatans that like, if you can't do, teach kind of a thing. If you can't live, coach. But you were very adamant about it, and some things aligned to make it very clear we were supposed to do it. And then your friends started calling, and then suddenly I had a career, and that was 16 years ago. So that was the intersection. Jamie's really responsible, saw something in me that I didn't necessarily see for myself, and kind of like a soothsayer, truth teller, kind of like started this journey for me that's been the joy of my life.
And vice versa, because I was so lost and so sad and so hopeless. And you offered me a lighthouse. Like you offered me a light. You offered me possibility. And you brought me out of like a very dark cave that I'm forever grateful for. And you've met Christina before.
I have.
Tell her when.
Okay, let's. I kind of am feeling it now too. Also,
what do you think?
Before that, like everything that you said, all the books, I was like, did you hang out with my mom?
With who?
My mom. Just
with your mom.
It was like my entire childhood was like Eckhart Tolle and like, all of that. So yeah.
Those. I would have loved to, I'm sure. No, here's how we met. You're not going to remember. I do not expect you to remember this because it was so brief, but actually quite cool. So I was a Broadway performer, and I was doing Wicked on Broadway.
Oh, shit. Okay.
He's a dancer.
You're getting
He's an
the track
amazing
now.
dancer.
And I was home in LA for maybe a break or something, and I went to take a dance class at the Edge Performing Arts Center in Hollywood.
Okay.
I think it was either Denise Leitner or Terry Best. Did you study with one of those?
Neither
or Malaya?
of those. It would have to have been Doug or...
Oh, it was Doug. 100%
okay, thank you. Doug. Okay.
So wow, I haven't thought about that name in a while.
I know. I think about him every day of my life.
So after class, we were like leaving, and I was like, oh, are you here preparing for Sweet Charity? And you looked at me and you were like, how do you know about that? Because it wasn't announced yet. Like, it was like early days.
Oh my God.
You hadn't even started rehearsals yet. And
I'm going to start to cry, dude, because like that was like that was such a huge part of my life. Sorry, go ahead. Thank you. Go ahead, Ryan. Sorry.
Well, I remember seeing you dance, and I don't even know that I registered it was you. And I was like, who's this unbelievably magnetic human being? And then afterwards, so I shared with you, I know about it because I'm in Wicked. We have the same choreographer, Wayne Salento.
Yeah.
So I had heard about it.
And they're with Manny and Corinne and my people. Oh my God, tell me more. Tell me more about it. Tell me more, because it makes me excited when I hear about it.
That was literally it. We hugged, and I was like, I can't wait to see you on Broadway. And that was the extent of our moment.
Oh my God, Ryan. And you were in a Dougie class. So
I was in a Dougie class.
We did some church that night then. That
was my church.
Oh,
babe,
honey.
that was, I mean, you know this, like dance was the place that I found my spirituality, and I didn't know that, I couldn't call it that at the time, but that was the first place in my life I felt safe to be myself, safe to come out, safe to be expressed, and I remember walking into my very first dance class with Denise Leitner at 16 years old and feeling what God is for the first, and I didn't have the words for that, but I was very clear, like, it's not my brain that's moving my body this way. Do you know what I mean?
No, are you kidding me? I was a Doug dancer.
Yeah,
like, I was a Doug dancer, but I was also like obsessed with Fosse too. So of course, we're in these shows with people like, Wayne and, people like that. But, in a Doug class, I wish people could understand what a Doug class was. It was like, nothing. You would never know. You'd never understand it. It's just was
No.
a place, and if you couldn't suck being in that class, like it was like
No.
it was it.
You'd
Like,
get trampled.
you'd be trampled, but probably by me because I didn't like if you got in my way.
Same.
I love
Oh.
hearing you talk about this, Christina, though, because I know how much grief it brings up, right? Because dancing
major
and to
grief.
hear the way you guys speak about it, it's what I think people like me who can't dance like that, like look at you and feel, because it's like you guys are otherworldly. Like you're channeling something that is so spiritual and incredible, and it's mesmerizing. And I hope later on in this conversation, we can get back a little bit to talking about this, because my dream for Christina in particular is to find ways to connect with herself and her body again. I mean, it's so devastating to not be able to use your body in a way that once felt healing. And
Thank you,
Go
my
ahead.
love. But also, like losing Doug was devastating
Aw.
to us. Well, now I'm gonna cry even more. Thanks, Ryan. Thanks for
You're
coming on our show.
welcome. You're welcome.
His name was Doug Caldwell, and he was the godfather of lyrical and created everything. So he was very special. And he like, if you look at any kind of contemporary dance now, it's all him.
Yeah.
So
Wow.
he was a very special man.
Wow. Well, I love that you have that in
Yeah.
common.
Yeah, I love that. That makes me, now I'm like on the precipice of kind of having a meltdown, but we're going to not do that.
No, well, not with Ryan. We've got him here to hold us.
No, we've got him here. So we're going to talk about other stuff. So one thing that we like to do is, I mean, I guess I like to do is.
And I like when you do it.
Okay, thank you. I always like to ask our beautiful guests, friends, that to kind of go back into your mind and close your eyes and who was little Ryan? And I mean this in the most like important way. Like, can you close your eyes and look down at your shoes at 10 years old? What did they look like? What shoes were you wearing? What music were you listening to? If that, what TV shows? Like, what was the sound in your bedroom? What was the smell in your home? And I always love that because it really does bring up something that we like to hear, Ryan.
Yeah. I mean, now you're bringing tears to my eyes to think about 10-year-old Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so physically, I'm just seeing like white Keds. I'm seeing like plaid. No, that was younger. That when mom was still dressing Ryan, he was wearing like plaid shorts, by the way, that would be like in a blue-ish something because they were to match I'm a triplet. And my sisters would be wearing like the pink plaid while I'd be wearing like the blue plaid. Healthy, very healthy. 10-year-old Ryan was, gosh, so many things.
It could be 8. If you don't want to talk about 10 guy, you can, yeah.
Well, 10-year-old Ryan had a big transition because that was when the Northridge earthquake happened and our house was it wasn't destroyed, but we had to move out of it. It was considered totaled. That was a big shakeup in my life, and probably the first like moment of like real divine intervention. But back to Ryan, I mean, he was definitely like a nerd, but he was also the like underdog who was the defender of the nerds, like stood up to all the bullies and took their shit so that my friends didn't have to. He also recently, I was told by somebody who was like a big bully in school growing up that one day when he was like picking on the kids, he has a memory of me taking him for a walk and asking him what was going on at home.
Oh, of course you did.
And he asked me, he said, this is how he remembered it. He said, why are you asking me that? And I said, because I don't think you really want to be this mean to people and something must be happening that is causing you to have to be so mean. So Ryan was like super soft-hearted. He was definitely closeted and afraid of being himself. He felt like really alone in the world, really scared of like this, what I thought was like a demon, literally, because I didn't know that it was even possible to be gay. Like I didn't know it was a possible thing to be attracted to your same gender. So I thought I was the only one with this infliction, and I didn't have anyone to talk to about it. So
infliction. Okay, we'll get back
affliction.
to that. Okay, but affliction. just even saying that, like, that hurts me that you have to say that word. So, but we'll get back to that. Okay.
Yeah, that's what it felt like at the time.
Yeah.
That's the story my brain told me about it, because I didn't know. I didn't. There was no one that I could say, "Hey, I've got this thing going on," and like, what is it?
Mm-hmm.
And I think he was kind of in this crosshairs of like watching his sisters, again, triplets, who were like very in the performing arts, very talented singers, and Ryan was expected to like be this baseball player, athlete. And I like enjoyed that because it was a wonderful way for me to connect with my father, which I really craved. But at the same time, I think I felt this inner passion for the arts, and I don't think I really thought I could express that in the way that I wanted to. He was a vegetarian. He didn't understand at 6 years old when he asked his mother, like, will I die if I stop eating meat? And she said no. And I said, okay, well then I'm not eating meat anymore. Why would we kill animals if we don't have to? So that tells you a little bit about like little, probably kind of activist Ryan. I am no longer a vegetarian. I love a steak. Grass-fed from a local farm, you know.
Support for Messy comes from Lola. When did you realize that Lola was your favorite thing in the world?
The second it was on my body skin. I know you guys, I'm so boring. I could talk about Lola blankets literally all day long.
I get it.
Because they are incredibly soft and amazing, and I don't know if you guys know this, but it is the world's #1 blanket, crafted with ultra soft luxury faux fur and a signature 4-way stretch. I don't know. You got to get one to understand what we're talking about with the 4-way stretch, because it's like a thing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just kind of the quality that instantly feels gift worthy. Again, give this to people you love.
Yeah. You know what I love? It's machine washable.
Oh, yes.
And it's built to last for years. So it's a meaningful long-term gift as well. This ain't something that's going to, stall out on you after a couple of years.
You don't want that, guys.
No,
but
we don't.
I think about like the people that I really love the most. Sorry if you guys haven't gotten one from me. I guess it just means that I don't love you the most, but I will send this to people that I love the most. It is just the most gorgeous blanket on the planet, and they have a beautiful story about their mother had cancer, and this made her feel very comfortable. And so, yes, it is my favorite thing. I sleep under it every single night of my life. Okay.
If I could you could go on for days, so I'm going to have to cut you off and tell our listeners that for a limited time, you can get 40% off select Lola Blanket products with code MESSY at checkout. Just head to lolablankets.com and use code MESSY. After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them. Please support our show and let them know we sent you. Wrap yourself in luxury with Lola Blankets. Support for Messy comes from ZocDoc. Listen, we all know health issues don't follow a 9-to-5 schedule. There's no convenience with a health issue. But with ZocDoc, having no time to book a doctor's appointment is actually no problem. When you don't have time for yourself until 11 p.m., When you tweak your back on the dance floor at a family wedding, or when you doom scroll and panic about your symptoms at 3 a.m., go to ZocDoc anytime, 24/7, and find a doctor you love to make your health plan happen. Yep, even if it's after hours. ZocDoc is a free app and website that helps you find and book high-quality in-network doctors so you can find someone you love. We're talking about booking in-network appointments with more than 150,000 providers across all 50 states. You want to see the doctor in person? Great. You prefer a video visit? You can do that too. You can view thousands of verified patient reviews. And when you're ready, you can see their real-time availability, book instantly, no phone tag, no waiting around. And appointments made through ZocDoc, by the way, happen fast, typically within just 24 to 72 hours of booking. So no putting off those doctors anymore. There's no excuse.
Stop putting off those doctor's appointments and go to ZocDoc.com/messy to find and instantly book a doctor you love today. That is ZocDoc.com/messy. ZocDoc.com/messy. Thanks, ZocDoc, for sponsoring this message.
So you've always had these almost this, I mean, for you to be able to walk that bully around and be like, there's got to be a reason you're this mean. Is that something that was innate within you? Was there any influence in your life that taught you to have that perspective? Or do you think this is something, because to me, I think you were born with a gift to be able to hold space and see the innocence in everyone. And that's one of the things that you've taught me to do. But do you think that was something that was just innate within you as a child?
I think it's hard for me to say that it was just how I came into the world. I did recently have an astrological reading. I haven't had many of those, but my friend insisted that I have a reading from this incredible person. And he actually, before I even said anything, and he didn't know anything about me, he looked at my chart and was like, what was it like to come into this world as you, Jamie, are describing right now? Right?
Wow.
And my first response to him was lonely. It felt lonely. But I definitely, as you were asking the question, I thought about, some of the things that my parents used to say growing up. My mom used to say to me, you never know what's happening behind closed doors. She always would say to me, you don't know, and I think that was a big thing for when we moved from Tarzana from the Valley into Beverly Hills. And, I looked around at a very different life from mine in terms of financial wealth and the things my friends were doing that I didn't even know were possible in terms of travel and just the way they were living their lives. And I think I would probably talk with my mom about that. And she would say, hey, you never know what's happening behind closed doors. Somebody could look like they have the most fabulous, incredible life. You just never. And so I think that was one of those key indicators of compassion for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you've also talked about, which I know Christina and I can relate to, and I think a lot of people that listen to this will relate to as well, that you have felt that you learned in order to survive that sometimes you had to hide emotions and your own needs in order to prioritize the needs of others. And while that on one hand, right, could support the compassion and love and space that you can hold for other people, that also could be an abandonment of yourself. So at what point did you recognize that? And then what did you do about it? Because I know that can also be incredibly difficult when you live with a chronic illness, right? You still want to feel like you are a present person for all the people in your life, but you can't ignore your own emotions and your own needs.
Yeah, that kind of insight around my codependency, which was I have had a lifetime of avoiding my own needs in order to prioritize the needs of others. And that's how I felt safe in the world. Really happened in a powerful way, probably 8 years ago when I went to a trauma-informed experiential therapy healing center called Onsite, which is outside of Nashville, Tennessee. And we did this exercise. So at Onsite, they utilize something called psychodrama. So imagine the melting between therapy and theater, where the therapist is a director of a scene, of a play. And I'm in a small group with, I think, maybe six other, students, let's call us, attendees. And they instructed us to go back to a moment in our childhood that was coming to mind that felt, overwhelming or traumatic, and then build the scene. And so you literally build it and you utilize the other attendees. You are now my mom. You stand in this place in the room and you kind of, you tower over me because that represents like my mother's intense presence. That's just an example.
Yeah.
Not my example, but that's
Right.
just, you represent my father, but you're going to stand in the back corner of the room and you're going to turn away because you were never home. You were always at work and you weren't able to be present in the way I needed you. And then you go to each one and you give them the harmful message you got from them.
Oof.
Right? And
Wow.
you tell them all the message. And so I had my whole scene set up with all the people in my life. And then I put little Ryan in the room. My friend Connie sat in the middle of the room being little Ryan. And the therapist pulled me out of the scene. So now I'm almost like in the audience, I could say. And I'm looking at my life. And the therapist says, now all the characters in Ryan's life all speak the harmful message all at the same time. And there was this like cacophony of noise of these messages that I got from these people, mind you, that weren't trying to hurt me. They were just living their life to the best protective ability that they could, right, in their own unhealed ways. And so there was this moment that I witnessed little Ryan in a really difficult environment, in a really painful environment. And it was the first time I had compassion for myself. Like my narrative went from there's something wrong with me, which is a narrative I've kept my whole life. Why can't I be better? Why can't I hold the relationship? Why can't I succeed more? Why do I give a shit so much what people think about me? Like, why do I hate my body so much? Like all of those messages shifted from what's wrong with me to that was really hard. That was really hard.
What's interesting now that I know that you're a Doug dancer, there's something, Jamie, I know it's very hard to understand when you're a Doug dancer, and we call ourselves Doug dancers because there's something special that happened in that room that was transformative. It wasn't just dance. You weren't just learning choreo. Oh, God, I hate when people say choreo. Sorry, just stab me right in my thing. And then please don't let me ever do that. But that's where I wanted to talk about in your experience, what happens to, your body when you avoid your feelings and you suppress everything. Like when we were in that class, right? It was like an explosion of all the things that was like, you let everything on the table. And for you to be making a life of that outside of a, Edge Performing Dance Center, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like it's so beautiful. I'm really impressed by you in that sense. But what was like, how did that push you? And where does that dance? Because dance really is kind of the soul of everything in a way. Sorry, people who don't dance, but it's like a thing. And if you're a Doug dancer, you get it.
Yes. I think there were, even in Doug's class or in any class, there were two kinds of dancers.
Yeah.
One was like the perfectionist who was able to do the 8th pirouette and like skipped the next 2 counts of choreography that the teacher gave you to like make sure that you got the extra pirouettes to show how incredible of a technician you are. That was not me. Then there were the ones who were open and available to let the spirit move them. And emotions would come out, and I mean, I have chills all over my body just thinking about it.
I'm about to, like, me too, because I was not a technician, but I was
Me neither.
yeah. Anyway, it's not about me. We're talking to you. Sorry.
Well, no, because I think, that was another way that I struggled as a dancer. I'm 5'8" on a good day. I have short legs and bad feet. I don't have like the long limbs. I never had like the like super thin dancer body, but I had what people would tell me was, I can't stop watching you. You know, that je ne sais quoi, that thing where it was like what I was feeling so deeply in my body was the whole world disappeared. It moved through me. That's what later so this is why like I so deeply connected with spirituality. Because when I found A Course in Miracles, and The Course in Miracles said, you're not the water, you're the faucet. Your job is to open yourself to let the miraculous nature of spirit like move through you. That's what you have this body for. And I was like, oh, I know this. Like, I know what this feels like as a dancer.
And that's
I
what
think,
got you cast, right? And on Broadway, where you thought you were literally going to an audition just for an experience, and then you ended up booking the show.
like your Sopranos audition.
Yeah.
Yeah, I went to an open call with literally the only expectation that I was in college. I was a sophomore in college, and I went with the expectation that it'll be very cool to have like a professional audition experience. I'll get cut in the first round and I'll go have pizza with my friends. And like I booked it 5 hours later in the room. And I think that was what they were looking for.
Yeah. Well, I mean, not to make it about us talking about our dance stuff, but Wayne
Keep talking about your dance stuff. I love
Wayne was really about that. Wayne could give a crap about, whatever. I mean, he is a Fosse dancer. He's all those things, but he wanted a jam, man, like something inside. And
Totally.
I mean, I worked with him on Sweet Charity, and so I got it. Like,
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah. I came into Wicked 2 years after it had opened. So, there's that thing where you're replacing people. But
Right.
I could tell it was like all the choreography was based on what the dancers brought to the table. I mean, he had his language, but then he was bringing out in these dancers what their like natural expression was. So I think becoming a coach, I came to realize like, oh, I've never not been connected to the universe, even in like the times that have been really painful, scary, solo, isolated, overwhelming, anxious. Like there's always been this thing that's been here for me and with me and as me. And I would really love to help there be more humans aware of that in the world if they want to. And I think that's what I think maybe, gosh, I've never thought about this. Maybe this is gonna make me cry. Maybe that's part of what had allowed me to be good at this, which is I've never been fucking pretending it. I didn't decide to be a coach. I didn't want to be a coach. I didn't say to myself, this is a cool field that could make me money. And it all has come from this deep thing inside of me that says, this is real. And we distract ourselves. We distract ourselves, and life distract our situations, our conditions, our challenges. They and sometimes rightfully so, they pull us away from what's always here. And so when I come into this work, it's like I want to rattle people awake to the fact that it is a benevolent universe, that we can connect to something that's always right here with us and for us, even when we're dealing with life's hardest things.
Why do you think it's so challenging? And I was one of them, and you know this, and you held my hand so beautifully to walk me through this. But why do you think it's so hard for people to look inward, to face what's beneath the surface? What do you think they're so afraid of? Because we know the liberation that's on the other side of it, but it's so hard to see until you get there.
Yeah. So what do I think is kind of makes it so difficult for people to like look inside and kind of heal, bringing up the painful stuff, the difficult stuff?
Well, I also say this because, a lot of the reason why I wanted to work with you and a lot of the reason why I wanted to do anything in that time was heal the body, fix the body, get rid of this MS, keep it hidden, fix it. And what you opened my eyes to was like, no, there's like a whole other being we have to pay attention to. Like healing I didn't even comprehend that healing could mean me. Right? I just assumed I was a daunted, terrible terrible narrator in my head, like doomed person. But if I could just fix this body, at least I'll get through life a little bit easier. And I think you were like, no, Jamie, we got to look way deeper here. And why is that so scary for people?
I think there's a few things at play that make it really difficult. One is just purely our biology. So we live in human bodies that strive for one thing, which is survival. And we learn when we're really young, I'm talking pre-verbal, like you come out of your mother, you cannot fend for yourself, you can't walk, you can't feed yourself, you can't defend against a predator. You are completely helpless, unlike every other animal in the known universe that comes out of its mother and can move and walk and swim and within minutes, days, right? Humans are we completely rely upon attachment for survival, right? And so we are looking at our primary caretakers from the moment we come out of the womb and saying, that thing that I can barely see through my blurry vision, that thing that I smell, that I hear, that I feed from, that thing keeps me alive. And I need to do whatever I can to make sure I keep them close because my survival depends on it. And I learned very young that my fears, my sadnesses, my lonelinesses, my cries add more stress, more tension, more shit to their plate. It may even cause them to get me to be quiet, whether that's in a soft way like sticking food or a bottle in my mouth or a pacifier in my mouth, or what many people experience, which is forms of abuse, whether that's verbal or physical, shut up, go sit in the corner, stop acting out. We learn really young that this discomfort that exists inside of our body, which is a part of the fabric of our existence, is actually not safe to express because it threatens our primary attachment. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And so we learn very, very early, because we can't suppress it, to not even feel it, to suppress it, to put a lid on our uncomfortable emotions. And the number one way we do that is we ignore the difficult explosions of emotions that happen inside of our body by jumping up into our head.
You're such a dancer. You're such a dancer. I wish people could see you because you're doing it. And I was just thinking just now as you were saying, and I'm so sorry to interrupt you, but like, I can see you wanting to go, you want to go there, and it's beautiful to watch. I'm so sorry, Ryan. I'm watching you talk, and if people could see him, his shoulders are like beautifully moving, and I can feel every bit of your soul just talk. Okay, now I'm going to shut up. All right.
Please never shut up, firstly. And secondly, I love that you say that because I do, like when dancing, when I'm talking about this stuff, there is something that I feel happens. There's like an alchemy that happens. And it's like, I feel, again, never talked about this before, opening up the curtains a little bit about what happens inside my body. I do feel like I follow a flow, just like in a dance class. Like the steps move. Here, I'm moving again now. People can't see.
You're such a dancer, and I'm the same way. Like we just do this stuff, like reach it out.
So that's one piece is this biological thing where we learn really young, and this is going to sound extreme what I'm about to say, but it's true. We learn that if we express our uncomfortable emotions, it could kill us because it can make our primary caretakers go away. That's how serious this is. I believe the biggest underlying condition of the insanity of our species is unconscious emotional avoidance. If every human being could get out of our head and get present to what's actually going on inside of our body, be with it, learn to sit with it without running, without reaching for the thing, for the distraction, for whatever the texting, the working, the swiping, all the things that we use as ways, and again, it's not our fault. Right? That's what I really want to say. None of this we're not bad at anything. It's not our fault. We learned to do this to survive. This was a way, avoiding our uncomfortable emotions was a way we loved ourselves. But what was adaptive becomes maladaptive because it turns into this consistent unconscious emotional avoidance, which turns into all of the things that create tumult in our relationships and our addictions and our disconnection from the universe and the stresses that we put on the body. It's like, that's what anxiety is. It's just, there's explosions of emotion that are constantly coming up in our body, which is just our body's way of saying, hey, I have a need right now, typically for safety, love, connection. I have a need. That's what uncomfortable emotions are. I have a need right now. Pay attention to me. It's like a 3-year-old kid or a 2-year-old kid on the playground pulling on your pants string saying, I need you, adult. I need you, right? And so these explosion of emotions come up. When we put a lid on them, we're opposing them. There's two opposing forces, if you could imagine, right? We're pushing down something that's rising up. And when two opposing forces meet, it creates friction, it creates tension. That's what anxiety is. So our anxiety is just a feeling. It's our body's way of saying, I have a feeling that's not being felt. So the first thing, if I can keep going, if you want me to stop for a moment, okay. The first thing is the biological aspect of survival, which is a huge thing that we contend with. The second thing is our relationship with believing that we are our ego. The belief that you and I did not come into the world with I'm sure, that's another conversation. We developed this belief that this body, this name, this personality, this thing that only exists for, 85 years if we're lucky, this thing is me, right? Which is a stress we put on the body's not meant to handle. Spirituality is all, so your question was why is it so difficult to face ourselves? Well, the ego is fighting for its life. It's literally fighting for its life. A Course in Miracles says the ego speaks first and the ego speaks loudest. And the ego is a belief that I am separate. I am separate from creator. I'm separate from others. I'm separate from nature. And it's really strong and powerful. And guess what? It uses this sound, this voice, which is yours. That's why it's so powerful, because it knows every thought you've ever thought. It has a memory bank of experiences that have hurt you over time that it can pull from in any moment, take memories from the past, project it onto the present moment, create a filter through which you're seeing a situation. And so this is why it's hard. You have this ego that's always talking, and we think it's us that's talking, right? Which keeps us from being able to be present. The work that I'm always trying to help, the work that I'm doing firstly with myself all the time, as much as I can, and that I'm trying to help people with, is to notice it, is to start recognizing that you're the awareness of this voice that's always chirping. Start questioning what it's saying. And the only way we can do that is if we learn to pause and be and see what's here and explore what's actually going on more deeply inside of us. But it's really hard to pause. It's really hard because what do we find when we pause? Discomfort. When we pause, when we take a moment and explore what's inside, it's uncomfortable. And we are creatures that want comfort. And so, as Phil Stutz and Barry Mickles said in their book, The Tools, and I'll pause after this, one of the 5 tools they offer, they call the reversal of desire. And they say that healing is dependent on shifting your desire for comfort to your desire for discomfort. Now, that might sound masochistic. I'm not talking about desiring difficult things to happen to you. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when the difficult things are arising, creating your own potential and expanse to be able to feel it and to welcome it as opposed to run away from it.
What can happen when you feel it and welcome it? What have you seen happen with people?
Can I go super spiritual?
Yeah.
Who you really are. Oh, what does that say?
And so it is. Come on, man.
Hell yeah.
I told her you were with me when I got mine.
Wow, y'all. And so it is.
And so it is, baby.
We're little agape girls, so we got it.
Beckwith. That was a real home for me too.
Remember, you took me there, Ryan.
I did.
Ryan taught me, and so it is. He's literally who taught me that. Yeah.
I've been with Beckwith since I was freaking 2 years old, basically, at this point.
Amazing.
No, that's my Palomino. But go ahead. Sorry, Ryan. But
what a beautiful gift that man is.
Yes, he is. Support for messy comes from OneSkin.
You know, a lot of skincare looks good on paper, but it doesn't really deliver results. Or even worse, you're sold on the idea that you need 10 different products to have an effective routine. That's why we love OneSkin, and that's why OneSkin really stands out. Their products aren't about hype or fancy packaging. It's real science, because this brand was founded by longevity researchers who asked a simple question. If visible skin aging is driven by damaged senescent cells, what if you could slow down that process instead of just covering it up? And that research led to OS1, OneSkin's proprietary peptide. It's the first ingredient proven to switch off those damaged senescent cells, which actually slowing skin aging directly at the source. Their products are backed by extensive lab and clinical data, including 4 peer-reviewed clinical studies to validate their efficacy and safety on all skin types. They've got over 10,000 5-star reviews and have been recently featured by Bloomberg as a leader in skin longevity. It really just shows you don't need a complicated routine to achieve healthier, younger-looking skin.
Born from over a decade of longevity research, OneSkin's OS01 peptide is proven to target the visible signs of aging, helping you unlock your healthiest skin now as you age. For a limited time, try OneSkin with 15% off using code MESSY at oneskin.co/messy. That's 15% off oneskin.co with code MESSY. After you purchase, this is really important, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show and tell them we sent ya.
So what can you find when you open is who you are. Is the shift in identity from I am this small separate person to I am the everything that is beyond the body, that holds the body. What I mean by that is who you really are, and this is in my experience, who you really are is the space that is able to witness anything. Who you really are is this space that is able to, it has the capacity because it's infinite. It's not threatened by fear or guilt or shame or resentment. It doesn't judge because it just is. And so who you really are is this vast expanse. And so therefore you're able to witness all these darker, more shadowy things. The only reason not to bear witness to and to pay attention and be the awareness of the more difficult emotions in life and the judgments we carry about, the only reason to ignore that is if you believe you are something that, quote, can't handle it, right? Think about how often we say this. I can't handle it. I don't want to feel this. I can't handle it. I say it all the time. People say it all the time. Well, who is the I? Who is the I? When you're saying, I can't handle this, who are you believing you are? You're believing that you are this kind of once in existence, like short-term body, personality that has limited capacity to feel. And so what you're expanding into, your ability to hold and bear witness, to feel it all, to let it be there, is you're actually expanding who you think you are. You're expanding your sense of self to recognize, I am that which that there's nothing I cannot hold.
Yeah.
Yeah. Crap. Sorry, I'm having some church right now, so I'm
Yeah. He'll
thinking about a
take
lot
you
of
there.
having some church. I'm having some
Take me to church.
I'm having some agaps, and I'm having some goodness right now, and I'm having some
Mhm.
Doug and
Mm.
oh,
So what do you say, to people that, when you have something like MS, right? And you've known this with me in the way I've expressed myself with you, sometimes it chips away at your worthiness, right? It's so easy to wake up in a body that is broken and painful and not in harmony with you, that you can feel so disconnected from, that it can further the stories that the ego wants to tell you. And it's very hard, and it took us practice and work and commitment for me to love myself in this body. So for anyone that might be listening right now that is just feeling like there is no way that I could do that, what could be initial steps in that direction? Because I think what I always want to tell people is how possible it is. It took time, again, but we're all, just because we're living with a disease, doesn't mean that we can't still feel the ways that you're speaking about,
Mm. Well, I'm going to turn it back on you to say, you told me the answer to this question for you, which feels in alignment for me the other day. You shared that in your exploration of MS and everything that it brought up for you around not being worthy, around being a problem, not wanting to be a problem for others, that those were things that didn't start with the MS, that they were things that you had been living since you were a child, and that the MS itself actually raised these things for you. It got to a point where the MS was so, and again, these are your words, tell me if I'm
yeah.
off here.
No.
You shared that it was the MS that was this thing that stopped you in your tracks. Literally, you couldn't keep running around the world in the way that you were, avoiding the pains and the wounds that you had developed from your early life. And you were literally forced to examine. And so I would say what you said to me, which is grieve, feel, and explore what's here. Explore when you're saying to me, Jamie, it's bringing up this, I'm not worthy, or a big one, I think, for people with chronic illness is the universe doesn't love me. Why, if I was loved by this universe, if God even existed, then why would this thing exist? Right? These chronic illnesses bring up major existential warfare in people. And so what I would say to someone is notice the temptation. So there's something in Buddhism called the second arrow. The first arrow is the thing that's causing the pain. The second arrow is the way the mind grabs on to what's happening in the first arrow and turns the pain into suffering through the stories. So the second arrow is the stories we tell about what's happening. And so what I would say to people is notice the temptation, the very real, understandable temptation to follow the mind's interpretation of what's happening, what it means about you, what it means about your future. And, I got to say, I'm sitting here with somebody who has the privilege of not having a chronic illness. So part of me is like, God, this is really hard to say to people who are suffering with something that's literally attacking their bodies. So I just want to acknowledge that. And whatever is happening in your life, we are all being called to explore the deeper stuff inside, to recognize that we all need healing, and that the more we can get out of our head, get in the body, feel what's here emotionally and physically, ask it what it needs, right? Ask, what do you need? I need love. I need connection. I need space. I need time. I need to speak up. I need to create more boundaries. I need to take care of myself, whatever it is. Ask these parts of you, what do you need? So, I would say what to do is like, let yourself pause for long enough to feel what's here. And that may sound like an abstract concept, but what I know in my experience is that reality with a capital R, life, that which breathes us here and puts planets in the sky and grows babies in women's bodies, the like unknowable intelligence that dances a dancer, it's here. It's the ultimate reality. And all we need to do is get quiet enough, get still enough to welcome it. Which, by the way, it's not like when we say, Dear Universe, I welcome you. I mean, that's a prayer I do every night before I go to bed. Dear Universe, I welcome you into my mind. I literally give you all my thoughts. As I lay my head on my pillow, I give you all my thoughts. Take my mind as I'm sleeping. Do whatever voodoo work you need to do on my thoughts. Deliver them back to me healed in the morning. When we pray or when we meditate, it's not that we're welcoming the universe into us. It's already here. All we're doing is reminding ourselves that it's here. And so the more you can pause, slow down, and feel what's here, the more reality itself will dawn on you. But we have to slow down enough to stop running away from it.
Yeah. Well, guess what? Now everyone's going to be able to get a daily reminder. Ryan, will you tell everybody how you are going to bless us with this wisdom on the daily?
Yeah. So it's not coming out till July. I don't know when this podcast is airing. But I just figured, the world needs another podcast. So
it does, Ryan. It needs
does.
Another
I
one.
am launching the Waking Up with Ryan podcast, which is...
Oh my God. I was going to say, I really need to listen to you while I'm going to sleep, and not to make me sleep, but to put the electricity in my brain and plug into the electricity. Because we always think of like, spirituality is like, you can... Look, we all go like this. We put a plug into the wall and we know it's going to do something. So that's what I always think about. And I was just thinking like, I just want to listen to you when I'm in my bed.
It's so cool you say that. That analogy or that example of plugging in a light. Like, you can have a lamp with the light bulb, everything working perfectly fine. But if it's not plugged in, that thing ain't gonna work, right? And that's the thing we as human beings were never really taught most of the time. We were never really taught like, hey, slow down and plug in. There's a whole universe here available for you to plug into. Plug the fuck in.
I'm sorry,
And-
and I interrupted you. So I'm so sorry. I just was really excited because I'm excited to listen to your podcast.
Well,
But
that's why I'm doing the podcast.
Please say more about it. I'm so sorry. Sorry.
That's why I'm doing it. Because, so a little brief background is when I first started coaching 16 years ago because of Jamie, I found myself frustrated because I was doing weekly sessions with people, like almost like a therapy model. And we would take like 5 steps forward in a session, and then a week would pass. And of course, life would life, and they would have taken 4 steps back. And I was kind of like, how do I change this to be more active in people's life to help? You have a session on Monday. Now it's Thursday. The shit's hitting the fan. Like, what do you? So I wanted to find a way to be more available in the work that I was doing with my clients so that they could have access to the information in the moments they needed it. And one of the ways that I did that was by sending a daily morning email. This is, again, 15, 16 years ago when people actually read their email and didn't get like spammed all the time. And I was just sending it to my coaching clients. And then within like a day or two, people, their brothers and their sisters and their cousins and their coworkers started emailing me, "Can you please add me to the list?" I'm like, "What list? What are you talking about?" Then I found out an email list was a thing. I had a boyfriend at the time that threw up a landing page. And within a few weeks, like 15,000 people had subscribed to this thing that he just called Waking Up with Ryan because I was sending these daily morning emails. And I did that for about 5 years, every single day. And it grew to become this thing that was quite beautiful. And people used to say to me, like, "How do you know exactly what I need to hear every morning?" And I would just be like, "Well, I'm just writing what I need. I'm just telling a little story about something that happened or an insight that happened or a challenge that I'm having or whatever." I stopped doing that many years ago. And like 10 years ago, I stopped doing that. And ever since, people have been like, "I miss those Waking Up with Ryan emails. I miss those emails." So anyways, an opportunity came in my life to do a podcast with iHeartMedia. And they said, "What do you want to do?" And I said, "I want to do the Waking Up with Ryan podcast." So it's 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. It's a 10-minute episode. It's a little moment of wisdom, a little teaching about something, me sharing a little story, a short practice, and then a love you goodbye. And they're all set to music. And then that's it. That's what it is. So my hope is that, Christina, as you were saying, like my hope is that it's just this little plugin.
I'm already subscribing right now.
Yeah, my belief is this is a daily thing,
Yeah.
I think too often in spirituality, we think about it as I need to go on the retreat, I need to read the book, I want to get these, like I need to take the ayahuasca, like nothing's wrong with those things. But those are just like big jolts of like extra special reality. My thing is like, what about the every single day of being human?
Yes.
And you know what, Ryan? Sorry to say this, you have a very soothing voice. So
Thank you.
I'm so
He
into
gives
it.
even better hugs. Can you imagine the hug from that man?
Oh my God. I need you
need
to just, I need you to move in. Like I want, I don't know if you know this about me. I want Montel Williams to move in with me, but I think I now need you to move in with me, which is totally
I mean,
fine.
I can't bring Montel Williams, but I could bring Ricky Lake if that's like a...
Oh my God, yes. And I need her doctor because
I'll send it to you.
her face looks awesome. And she's talked about it, so it's totally fine.
She has,
she
so
has.
graciously. No
so
gatekeeping.
good, dude.
She has. People were we were at my baby shower last weekend and people were very excited to be like, "Wait, who did your face again?"
I know she talked about it on what oh my God. I literally just did
a bit of a tongue twister.
Watch what happens live. And
Yes.
I wrote it down and I don't have it. But anyway,
Ryan
I'm
can get
like,
it for you.
yes, thank you. Please just kind of slip me that info. But she said something about it publicly, so I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm kind of into him.
A little thing we do at the end of each episode, Ryan, is we have our guests give Christina 5 movies, 5 of your favorite movies, 5 movies you could watch over and over again, 5 movies that have meant something to you. No pressure. That's like literally the first 5 movies that come to mind of ones that, you've seen a million times or that mean something to you.
Okay.
And don't say why, just say the movies.
Okay. Numero uno.
Mm-hmm.
First Wives Club. Number 2, Best in Show. Number 3, this is for you, Christina.
Yes.
Oh my God, why is the name of it escaping me right now?
Well,
Oh my God. What was the movie about? It wasn't ABT, it was ABC, the American Ballet Company, with Ethan Stiefel and Sasha Radetsky. It was the dance movie. It was
some ballet shit. Okay, there we go. Ballet shit.
Center Stage.
That's what
Oh
I was
my
going to say.
There's
God.
Ballet.
Allison
Yes.
for the
Thank
win.
you.
Center Stage.
Good job. Okay.
Okay, Center Stage. Gosh, why is this so hard for me? Hamnet.
The most recent one that just came out. The movie that just came out.
That's cool. I don't know anything about that, so that's going to be great. All right.
Must watch.
All right.
Must watch, especially based on this
Do you
conversation.
need him to tell you the plot a little bit?
No.
All right.
I spiritually come into
Copy.
my things.
Copy.
Okay. And then you have only one more.
Moulin Rouge.
Of course. All right. You guys talk for a second.
Okay. Are you active on your Instagram right now? Is that something people can find? Like, as I know people are going to listen and be like, how do I stay connected with this person until July?
Yeah. You know, I would say come follow on the Instagram. As I'm preparing for the launch of the podcast, I will be more active on there. I'm having a baby in 4 weeks, my first one.
Wait, what?
So,
what?
Yeah. So I probably won't be
How
so
lucky
active.
is that baby?
But come to the Instagram, Waking Up with Ryan, and just know that I'll start showing up in your feed when it comes time. I haven't been super active on social.
I know.
One of the things we didn't talk about is the last 2 years, I really went through this deep relaxation and release of like identity as a coach, identity as a social media thing, identity as anything. I really needed to do a deep surrender experiment the last couple of years.
Yeah.
And part of that was just like, I don't feel like I have anything I have to say.
Yeah.
And I'm the kind of person on social, it's like, if I don't have something to say, I'm not going to make something up to say.
No.
I just needed to go inside and like take everything for me. And I'm, doing this podcast, putting the show out. It's like, it's time to come back out of the closet.
It is. She's ready.
You miss it.
Oof. Fuck, man.
You miss every second of it, sweetheart. Yeah.
Yeah.
He knows what I'm talking about.
I sure do. So do the tears coming into my eyes.
I know.
Yeah, it's one of my a really small part of me made me stop.
What's the part of you that can't go further with it in some sense to take care of that part of yourself? But I know you miss it because looking at these that you miss every part of it.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
Mm-hmm. It's the part of me that's afraid of being seen. It's a part of me that's afraid of the world. I'm talking to 2 people who have lived very public lives, right? The 2 of you. I'm afraid of that. Like there's a part of me that's afraid of this world, especially now, like with social media and the way people take things and spin things and make up whatever message they feel like making up for clickbait. And there's I was actually just having a conversation with a friend about this. I have a lot of friends who are public figures, and I've just seen the way the world like chews people up and spits them out. And I think that's one thing. It's like I've never wanted to get too big. It's like it's safer in the smallness of my life.
Hey,
Wow.
man, We could put together a class with like Alex Magno or something like that. I don't know if you ever took from Alex, who's very Dougie as well. Sorry. But just to get into a room, man.
You know what, Christina?
Let's get
I bet
in.
if I put you in a room with Ryan, he would make you figure out a way to dance in this body right now. He would.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you miss it, and your body misses it because you were, you know, if you guys could all see the way he talks in dance, and
No,
we know what it feels like, Ryan. We know.
Yeah.
So I know you miss it. So please don't abandon that part of yourself ever.
Let's go do a Broadway show.
Well,
all three of us.
I would have to have ADA seating, so I don't know about that. But
I could figure that out.
I've been trying to convince Jamie to do
oh yeah,
the last 5 years with me.
We want to just do like a cabaret where we just do the two-hander and sing together.
Well, there you go. And I will sit in the ADA area in my wheelchair.
Girl, you're up there singing.
That's right.
Oh God,
That's
my voice sucks. My daughter will tell you that. She's like, your voice sucks.
You were nominated for a Tommy on Broadway.
I always tell her. I always tell her that too. I was like, oh, which one of us was nominated for a Tony, little girl?
Correct. I think a lot of people would argue that one.
Little girl.
Little girl. All right. Well, we won't take any more of your time, Ryan, but I pull a card.
You can have it all.
I love you. I pull a card from this little deck here every week. I don't know what it's going to say. It's random, just offers some wisdom, even though we don't need any more after talking to you. I love you so much. Thank you for doing this. I am who I am because of Ryan. Here we go.
Wow.
It's the truth.
I thought it was me. Statement. Just kidding, James. But I love that. And I love you, Ryan. And I think we're going to, you're going to have to come over and hug me a lot.
I would love that for you guys. I would. Okay. Oh my God. All right. I'm going to try to make it through this one. It's long, but I'm like, oh my God, I have tears in my eyes already. Okay. Be gentle with yourself. You are a child of the universe. No less than the trees and the stars, you have a right to be here. And whether or not it is clear to you, no doubt the universe is unfolding as it should. Therefore, be at peace with God, whatever you conceive him to be, and whatever your labors and aspirations in the noisy confusion of life, keep peace with your soul. With all its sham, drudgery, and broken dreams, it is still a beautiful world. Be cheerful. Strive to be happy. And so it is.
And so it is.
You know, I know we're trying to end, but I want to... Can I say one more thing?
Of course.
Please.
Because your card reminded me of it. And I'm thinking about the person at home that you referenced before who's dealing with the hardship of whether it's MS or other chronic illness or physical challenge, and probably feeling alone in that. And, you know, it's like no matter how many people you talk to, you're still like in the back of your mind, you're like, no, I'm still all alone in this. What I would love to offer as just like one thing is to simply ask yourself the question, what is always here? What is always here? Meaning, what has been here when my body was able to do everything I wanted it to do? And what is that's still here now in this experience of my suffering and my pain and my loss and my grief? And you don't have to have an answer to that question. Just to ask the question consistently, what is always here? And just see what arises. And then DM me on Instagram what you find.
Beautiful.
Thanks,
Thank you, Ryan.
This show is executive produced by Christina Applegate, Jamie-Lynn Sigler, and Allison Bresnick. Our audio engineer is Josh Windisch.
If you want to show us some love, don't forget to leave the show a rating or review. Hi, it's Jamie. Thanks for listening. I just want to let you know I am a paid spokesperson for Novartis, but this podcast is independent from my collaboration with Novartis.